couple of announcements before we begin Celebration of Life. The parking lot across the street and on-street parking is fine, but it's illegal to park in the lot immediately to the south of us. So if you are parked there, kindly move before the service starts, because you will get a ticket and towed by that company. So they don't give us any breaks on Sundays. So if you're parked immediately south of our parking lot, if you'd be so kind, there's 4 cars over there. If you'd be so kind as to move them, please, and thank you. congregation, please stand.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. Whether you're here in person or joining us by live stream, welcome. Today is the family and friends of Sarah, Elise, Santiago, Cowie. We have gathered here to honor her life, to give thanks for her life, and to pay our parting tribute. May all who mourn be given comfort. I now invite Jade and Lucas to come forward to light a candle in loving memory. Thank you. We light this candle as a visible reminder of the light of Sarah's life, a light that continues to radiate in the hearts and the memories of all who knew her, loved her, and will continue to love her. The color blue of the candle is symbolic because it was her favorite color. And I see many are wearing blue in honor of that today, as well as the jerseys being a favorite blue. Today we've come together to remember and to share. We've come to be with those who most profoundly feel loss and sorrow with Sarah's unexpected death. We especially remember her beloved family, her parents, Michael and Charlotte, sister Jade, brother Lucas, as well as grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. And we want you to know that we have come to walk beside you with our caring and our support during this your time of great loss and sorrow. We've also come together today because you too knew Sarah, and we know that she will be missed by many people and lovingly and fondly remembered. Each one who was here, and many more, are deeply saddened by her sudden death. And as we gather, we bring a whole range of feelings, emotions, shock, disbelief, sorrow, to name a few. And these are all a natural response to the unforeseen and heartbreaking loss that is being experienced presently. I ask that you honor how you feel how you feel. Reach out and talk to others about how you feel, because in this journey we call grief, we need each other. We need to support each other. And yes, we come together today with our grief to remember to both give and receive support and care. And we feel the loss we do because Sarah lived among us, and she touched the life of each one of you and many more. And for this, we give our profound thanks. Your relationship, each one of your relationships with her, has brought us here together today. And this is the reason that we celebrate the gift of her life and give thanks for her love and friendship and for all the special memories created as a daughter, a sister, a granddaughter, a niece, a cousin, a teammate, and a friend. Sarah's life story is personal and sacred, just as each of ours is. Her life story was written page by page, day by day, year by year, in the brief 16 years that she lived. Her life story began on November 30th, 2009 in Edmonton, and she was born to parents Charlotte and Michael, the middle child with older sister Jade and younger brother Lucas. They moved to Calgary in 2012, which has been home ever since. And although I didn't have the privilege of meeting her in person, I did become acquainted with her and parts of her life story when I met with her family to plan the service for today. Certainly, those who were part of her life story most personally were her family and friends. And the tributes that have been prepared will now be shared. And I'd invite her parents, Michael and Charlotte, to come forward. This will be followed by sister and brother Jade and Lucas. And the remaining tributes will proceed unannounced, and you can refer to your service folder for the names of those who will share a tribute as part of this part of the service.
Thank you all for being here today as we gather to remember and honor my young daughter, Sarah Cowie. Standing here today is the hardest thing I have ever had to do, and I would not be able to do it without my beautiful wife, Charlotte, supporting me and standing at my side. Sarah was only 16, and her time with us was cut short by a sudden, unexpected tragedy. Parents should never have to bury their child. There is no making sense of a loss like this, but as I look out at everyone here, I am reminded about how much love surrounded her in her short life, and how much love she gave in return. Being a parent to Sarah and her wonderful brother, Lucas, and sister Jade is the greatest privilege and achievement of Charlotte's in my life. Charlotte loved Sarah unconditionally, with the kind of fierce, devoted love that only a mother could give. Our home has always been defined by the love we share, and Sarah was a beautiful, irreplaceable part of that foundation. She was quite simply a perfect daughter and a deeply loved sister. Sarah was never one to just accept things at face value. She was a remarkably deep thinker and was always questioning the world around her and wondering how and why things worked the way they did. We had many long conversations while on the road to soccer practices, games, and tournaments, and I was always struck by how she seemed to possess a wisdom that felt far beyond her 16 years. From questioning the very best shop for donuts and fried chicken in all of Alberta, to asking about what brings fulfillment and true meaning in life. Our conversations were always a roller coaster, from the mundane to the genuinely deep and insightful. She seemed to have the world figured out far better than I ever did. Sarah held herself to incredibly high standards. She was a perfectionist at heart, and truth be told, she was rarely satisfied with her own performance. I was rarely allowed to see her artwork because it was either in progress or not good enough. No matter how many times I told her how wonderfully she was doing or how proud I was, she always strived for more. I wish she could see herself today through our eyes. To see just how brilliant, capable, and profoundly talented she was. Whew, getting hard here to read. Sarah and I shared a bond that was incredibly special and that I never took for granted. We had a beautiful rhythm of looking out for one another. When I was down, Sarah had this innate ability to bring me back up, to offer a smile, a joke, a big hug to ground me. And I always did my absolute best to return the favor. Sharing those quiet moments of mutual support with her was a gift I will cherish forever. If Sarah could see you all here today, for her, I know she would have turned every shade of red from the absolute embarrassment of being the center of attention, while also not believing this many people thought she was important. But those of us who were lucky enough to be in her inner circle, especially her siblings and close friends, knew a completely different side of her. When she was surrounded by her family and her friends in the spaces where she felt truly safe to be herself, Sarah was incredibly giggly, fun, and full of life. Her laugh was a gift, and her joy was contagious. That is the version of Sarah I want us all to hold on to. The girl who laughed without restraint, who loved deeply, and who fought hard for everything and everyone she cared about. Alongside that serious and thoughtful mind, she was genuinely funny and bright soul who could always cheer me up after a bad day. At the dinner table, she would often switch into her comedic debate voice, where she would try to convince us all of her absolutely outrageous position was the correct one, and would always close with the, "Think about it," or "What do you think about that?" It was very hard to keep up with her in the debate and not collapse over in an absolute fit of laughter. Sarah discovered her first true love on our cruise in Alaska. Outside on the main deck, we walked by a self-service ice cream machine. And she was absolutely love-struck about not only being able to make her own ice cream, but also one that was technically free, which was her favorite word. She loved it even more when she discovered that I had a hidden talent to make preposterously tall ice cream cones with the machine. Every time we would walk by a machine, and let me tell you, there are several spaced all throughout the ship that she was able to strategically locate, she would ask for an ice cream cone, preferably taller than the one I made before. Despite her lactose intolerance, she absolutely lit up every time I made her one of those cones, and it was a tradition on all future cruises that we would see how tall of a cone I could make her. When Sarah set her mind to something, she was an absolute force. Her drive was nothing short of incredible. If there was something she wanted to achieve, she would work tirelessly to make it happen. The harder it was, the harder she worked. When I was running a Dungeons & Dragons campaign with my family, Sarah wanted her character to have an accent, one that both she and her mom could do. After going through what seemed like hundreds of dialect coaching videos, they settled on the New Zealand accent, as it was the only one they could both do convincingly. They both then took several days going through multiple videos to learn the accent and practice it for several hours. Their accent added so much fun and whimsy to our sessions that I'll never forget that. Another example of her determination was just after COVID, when sports were starting up again in the fall of 2021, and we had asked our kids to pick a sport that interested them. Sarah insisted that soccer would be the best idea, despite her having no previous experience playing soccer or any other sort of team sport. Not only that, but somehow she also convinced her brother to join at the same time. We then proceeded to register her and her brother in the indoor season with the Calgary Rangers, and she then proceeded to pour her heart and soul into learning everything she could from her coach, her teammates, and every YouTube tutorial imaginable to ensure she didn't let her teammates down. Her passion was so contagious that her sister decided to join soccer the following season. Soccer grew over the following seasons into one of her main passions in life, and it is something that brought her a profound sense of happiness, accomplishment, and belonging that few other things could match. Never happy to stay still, she decided she wanted to try out for another club, New Frontier, and put everything out on the line. She wanted to see if she could make it on her own without any history or preconceived notions impacting where she was placed. She was nervous going into the session as she didn't know anyone there, and she knew that not everyone gets in. But on the drive home, after the first session, she was so full of smiles and told me she was just so happy that she took the risk and tried out. She said that even if she didn't place on a team, she would know that she went for it and gave it her absolute all, and that's all she needed to be happy with herself and her performance. At that moment, I was so unbelievably proud of her, her strength, and her willingness to work hard for the things she loved. A few tense days later, she heard she had placed on the team she had hoped to be put on, and a new wonderful chapter in her soccer journey began. The New Frontier players, coaches, and managers welcomed her into the club with open arms and made her feel at home. She completely transformed over the past 2 seasons. Her passion for soccer grew even more, and her performance on the pitch increased by leaps and bounds as she showed a newfound confidence that she herself didn't know she had. Her willingness to take risks and put everything on the line to prove herself is something that I will always remember about her. Sarah shared a profoundly close and wonderful real connection with her brother and sister. Like any true sibling, Sarah knew exactly how to press their buttons, preferably all of them at once. She was capable of driving Lucas and Jade absolutely crazy to no end, bringing plenty of noise and chaos to our home. But the very second there was a real problem or a moment where they actually needed help, the teasing stopped. Sarah would instantly become serious, stepping in to be the fiercely protective sister. She was always there to defend them and watch over them when they needed her, even if they didn't want her to. That fierce, unwavering loyalty is a gift she gave to her siblings, and it is something they will carry with them forever. I was so immensely proud, not just of her accomplishments in life, but also of the kind of person she was shaping into as she looked to plan the next stages of her life. She was so much better than I ever was or ever will be. So full of hope, of dreams, and of potential. I always thought she was going to change the world someday. Sarah, you were a bright light in our lives, a beautiful friend, and a daughter we are so deeply proud of. Thank you for 16 years of pure fun, laughter, and love. Your mom, brother, sister, and I will hold each other close, and we will spend the rest of our days honoring your memory, questioning the world just like you did, pushing forward with that fierce drive you always had, and carrying you in our hearts forever. Rest in peace, my sweet baby girl.
Wow, I am really short. And Sarah would have told me to wear taller shoes. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Charlotte, Sarah's mom. I'm going to try to get through this coherently without babbling and breaking down, but no promises. So I am a professional communicator. I'm a writer and editor, but I had no words for this speech. Oh wow, I couldn't even make it like 2 sentences, guys. There's so many things I want to say about Sarah, but I don't know how. So you'll notice that my speech is much shorter than Michael's because somehow the engineer could put more words together than the writer. The world is a strange place. Sarah is, or was, a daddy's girl. She was close to her dad, had heart-to-heart talks with him, asked him for help with homework. And she said she asked her dad for help because he can still do math and physics since he's an engineer. And I haven't done math since first year calculus, which, fair, and very true. Because I'm an editor, Sarah didn't ask me for help with English. I always offered, and I always tried to reassure her that I wouldn't redline all over her work. But she told me it was weird and a little scary to have an actual editor read her writing. So she usually asked one of her friends or her sister to do it instead. But that changed this semester with English 20-1. She first asked me to help her work through her analysis of a song's lyrics for an assignment that analyzed lyrics, or possibly poems, since she told me that songs are poems. The song she chose for the assignment was Parallel by Dayseeker. This song is about grief and loss, with lyrics like, I guess heaven really needed you, and a different you that's doing well, a universe laid parallel. We had a good discussion about the song's meaning, about how the ones left behind. Imagine the person they lost somewhere else, in a different place, in a universe laid parallel, alive and well and happy. I still agree with her analysis, but with lyrics like, a panic attack at 5 in the morning, we bury the dead without any warning, the song now has a very personal meaning, and one I wish that it didn't have. After that assignment, which included a conversation about her excitement about the then upcoming Dayseeker concert, Sarah started asking me to read through more of her English assignments. She asked me to review another assignment. Review is the term that I use at work. And I read through her work and left comments and suggestions. I did not redline her writing. I assured her I wouldn't do that, so I didn't. Before my review, she was a bit concerned because she'd already run her work through an AI detector, which had flagged her writing as 80% AI. After she implemented my suggestions, she ran her assignment through the AI detector again, and it came back as 97% AI. Oops. Her dad and I reassured her that her English teacher would know her writing style and it would be okay. She was not entirely convinced, but she eventually submitted her assignment. A few weeks ago, she asked me to review her essay for The Life of Pi. She didn't have to write it as an essay, but she wanted to go above and beyond, as she did. So instead of writing it as short answer responses to 4 questions, she wrote it as an essay. I left comments with suggestions, but instead of taking her laptop back to her room to go over my comments and make her edits like she usually did, she sat on the bed next to me and asked me to help her with revisions. We worked through my suggestions together, with her bouncing ideas off me as she rewrote and revised. This was the first time she'd done this, and I know she asked me to do this with her because she was running out of time. The assignment was due at 11:59 and it was already close to 11. And I know this was the reason because she told me. But I got a glimpse of what it was like when she sat with her dad doing homework, and I will cherish that moment and that memory forever. Sarah was a light in everyone's lives. She was quiet, strong, and fierce, and she was always unapologetically herself. She had a maturity about her that was beyond her age, but she was also full of joy and mischief. She had a sharp wit and an innate comedic timing. She could drop one-liners in an instant with her trademark deadpan delivery. And she did, often, usually directed at her sister. We all knew she did it out of love. She loved her brother and sister with a fierceness that she usually, and usually successfully, tried to hide. Last October, we watched Hailstorm perform How Will You Remember Me live in concert. When I hear that song now, I think of Sarah. I am lucky enough to be her mom, and I will always remember her. I will remember her for who she was and for what she accomplished in the short time that we had her. Oh wow, I can't see. I will remember her by talking about her. I will remember her by trying to emulate her inner strength, her determination, how she cared about people, how she made people laugh, how she roasted her sister, and her goodness. I will remember her every way I can, because she will never be forgotten. In one of our recent deep discussions, this one in the car on the way to soccer, she asked us if we thought there was an afterlife and what it looked like. At the time, my answer was something closer to the Buddhist idea of reincarnation. But if she asked me that now, my answer would change. Now I'd say that I think there is an afterlife, though I don't know what it looks like. But I think there is one, and I think that we'll see each other again someday. I don't know how to say goodbye. So instead, I'll say goodbye for now. Sarah, when we see each other again, you can call me an unk, and make sure I understand all the current slang. I love you, Sarah. I love you so much. I will miss you forever, and I will remember you every single day.
Hello everyone. Before I get into everything I want to say, thank you so very much for being here today to celebrate the life of my little sister, Sarah. She actually was my little sister. She was shorter than me. I guess this is where I actually say good things about my sister, which I know is surprising that I can actually do that being her big sister, and try to pull some meaning about her life. It's like an English essay, I guess. Weird that the subject matter is my sister, though. But I guess it works in a way because she actually loved to write things. Even if it was just to write an assignment for English, she still liked to do it. She really loved writing stories and bringing them to life through her art, through the webcomic she loved to make. I don't know if she continued it because she told me she stopped it since it wasn't working out the way she wanted. But even if she didn't finish her stories, she was absolutely amazing at writing, no matter the structure or subject matter. She was so good that when she put her writing into an AI detector, AI thought her writing was AI, which caused her to have a full-blown panic spiral about what to do about it. So I'll do my best today to make this speech make sense and have a good ending that wraps up everything I want to say, like Sarah was amazing at doing. She had so much fun pulling meaning out of random things, so I'll try to do my best here. So I guess now I'll actually get into everything I want to say about my sister instead of rambling. Sarah loved to talk about death with me at random moments in the day, which the common time for her to do so was in the middle of the night when I really just wanted to sleep. In a recent and unfortunately relevant conversation we had, Sarah asked me a question about death, which I actually don't remember annoyingly, but I responded with this. I think we die twice. The first time is when we are no longer on this earth, and the second time is when we are forgotten. Sarah kept going on about my response, trying to get that philosophical, deep conversation she always loved to have with me in the middle of the night. She was talking about how we won't be remembered if we didn't do something huge like Einstein did, or someone like that, someone who changed the world as we know it. She added this comment that is kind of fuzzy in my mind, but I'm pretty sure she worded it this way. But what if I'm forgotten quickly, she said. She added more stuff to that, but I still really wanted to sleep. So I said that we don't need to worry about this for a while. We can figure this out later. This obviously didn't age well. It aged like fine milk. But I hope she is looking around this room right now, seeing how many people actually remember her, how many people she actually affected during her life, that she won't be forgotten that easily. Sarah, you made that impact to be remembered by so many people. You're on the news. There's going to be a scholarship in your name to help others like you've always wanted to do, to make an impact. You're absolutely everywhere now. You're going to be remembered for so long. Look at you being so popular. I'm sure you're watching this right now, incredibly embarrassed about how many people are here to celebrate you, how many people you actually impacted. That people are actually here giving you attention, which you always hated, and never thought people actually liked to do. This really does prove her statement wrong, that no one cares about her outside her small friend group and her family. She always worried that others hated or disliked her because of how little she actually liked to talk. But that said person she was worried about would come up to me to see if she hated them instead, which I found pretty funny. Sarah was always so shy that she would stick to my side for pretty much everything, except school though. I think I was too uncool there, and she actually wanted to be with her friends instead of me. Rude, Sarah, rude. I remember when I started soccer, the season after Sarah joined, which was the outdoor season. We both tried to different degrees. Sarah tried harder to get as good at soccer as fast as we could. And the next outdoor season, we started playing together. We were finally on the same team having fun, trying to show that the other one was worse than the other. When we were on a team together, my dad would tell me to go talk to others with Sarah so that she could start talking to more people and make some friends instead of running back to talk to me. We did different soccer courses to try and get as good as possible so that we weren't the odd ones out. And this was when we both were figuring out our positions, which that season helped me figure out that I was a keeper, and that Sarah could pretty much play anywhere, but was good at striker, mid, and wing. So, all the attacking positions on the field. Even with all the struggles we had during the different seasons, it made us both better, and made my sister absolutely shine. I never said this full to my sister. But I'm so proud of how far she has gone. I was so happy for her when she got called up for Tier 1 for New Frontier, including when she was so happy she could play, even with her diminishing how good she actually was, which was always a habit of hers, even when I did give her some compliments. Sarah had this bond I can never explain. We're so good, so close, even if we would do the absolute best to piss each other off, which, again, Sarah was actually better at. Everything we did intertwined into each other. Our own actions, and even our schedules. For example, my alarms were based off when hers would go off, and actually how loud mine needed to be so I couldn't annoy her. Sarah is that best friend I never thought I had, because why would I admit that? She's my sister. We would always have these goofy conversations together in the middle of the night, which I didn't partially love because I was trying to sleep, but I never really admitted that I did actually love them. It was the only time we really didn't fight. I found myself always sleeping in a certain way, with my headphones in so I could hear her talk if she ever asked me when I was listening to music. I remember telling her this, and she said, "Wow, that's actually surprisingly sweet. Look at that, you love me." She would always ask me the most random questions whenever I'm trying to do something or get ready. One thing I remember her asking me was, "Would you rather have to pee out a grape or poop out a watermelon?" And no matter how I would answer, she would say something else and say her favorite phrase, "Think about it," which always made me laugh and go back into the back and forth with her with whatever she was talking about. She would always ask me to do something or help her with something like schoolwork. And when I either didn't want to do what she asked me or I couldn't help her with whatever she needed, she would always tell me, "You're a bad big sister," in the silly, goofy, sarcastic tone she always used. She would use that to try and convince me to do something outrageous or try to make me have newfound knowledge to be able to help her. Or she would say, "Good big sisters do this," and I would always roll my eyes and say, "Fine," or "Fine, I'll do it later," because it would always make me laugh. One conversation that we had was Sarah making a bet that she would live longer than me and dance on my grave. It was a bet that I always thought Sarah would win, and not me because I am the older sister. But here I am, actually winning something against my baby sister, and absolutely hating the fact that I did. I was supposed to win this when we were much older, but here we are, in this reality where I win this bet at only 18 years old. This leads me into my final big conclusion of my whole speech, which, don't get me wrong, could go for so much longer, but I'll be nice to Sarah and not draw this out for hours. But it's also because I sadly can't remember a lot of the conversations and stuff Sarah would do, and it's hard to culminate everything into one speech. Summarizing someone's life into one speech is so much harder than anything I think I will ever do in my life. I ask all of you for a favor. I ask all of you to help me continue my sister's memory. Help me so my sister can outlive me even after I die. So that she can still say she won the bet and can dance on my grave. See, Sarah, I can be helpful and give you pity points. I hate that my sister now has to become a memory. But if that's the only and best thing that I can do for my baby sister now, I will make sure that I can do that for her. I will continue to write her story where Sarah's left off, leaving her pen halfway through chapter 16. If you want to help me, anything counts. Even just being here and then going home and moving on like nothing happened. That's like picking up that pen and moving it just enough to leave a space for someone else to pick up the pen and continue to write her story. I know all of us hate the way that Sarah ended her story, but don't remember her for how her story ended. Remember how she wrote the beginning and middle. Don't hang up too much on how she gave herself a tragic ending, which I guess is a very Sarah thing to do, as she loved tragic endings. Made things more interesting in her words. Remember her for her love of soccer, fashion, makeup, anime, which she got me into, creativity, which she got me into art, pom-pom-purian, haramasa, and video games. Those are what Sarah wrote into her story. Remember her for these things and the actions she did for you and others. I will bring my baby sister along with me in my own life in new ways, so that Sarah can still live on, still see and do things she wanted to do. This is me continuing to write Sarah's story, helping her continue her story through an epilogue written by me. I hope you are hearing this now, Sarah. I love you so much that I can't put it into words. Even these words fail me now, so much so that I feel like this speech will never be enough for you, even if it's 4 pages long. This isn't a goodbye, really. More like a see you later. I'm sure you'll call me an unk when I get there, and I'm not opposed to that. I'm excited to see you again eventually, Sarah. But for now, this is goodbye.
Wow, our heartfelt thanks for your beautiful tributes, your expressions of deep love. Thank you. I'll now share a tribute written by Nora, Sarah's Nana. Every once in a while you meet someone who brightens your day with a smile, has compassion, empathy, and humility, and your world is just that much brighter because of their presence. Sarah was that someone. Sarah was a quiet, humble soul who had many parts to her. The ballet dancer, taekwondo, red stripe, digital artist, graphite drawings, paintings in watercolor, crocheting, and clay sculptures, to name a few. Sarah loved to challenge herself. Sarah found her passion in soccer. Watching her play was a joy. And how she could turn on the speed instantly to get after the soccer ball was amazing. Every soccer practice or game, Sarah would lace up her cleats, and there it was. That smile, that look of anticipation, that love for her sport. Her laughter and kindness will always remain in our hearts and in our memories. Though we only had Sarah for 16 years, I am grateful for the time we had together. Sarah was loved, and she made an impact on everyone she met. Saying goodbye is never easy, and words fail to express the sadness we feel. Sarah was not just a family member or friend, but a kind and caring soul who touched so many lives. Rest in peace, Sarah. You'll always be loved, remembered, and deeply missed.
Hi everyone. For those who don't know us, we are Sarah's Grandpa Bob and Grandma Joanne. And we've got a few words that we just want to share with you. Today we're gathering to remember our beloved Sarah, our beautiful granddaughter, a daughter, sister, niece, and friend who left this world far too soon at only 16. She brought much energy, laughter, and love into our lives. She had such a passion for life. Whatever she was doing, engaging with family, her friends, school, dancing, soccer, art. She did so with determination, spirit, and joy. She had a way of making people smile and feel included. She had a beautiful smile that could light up any room, and she had so much of her life left to live. In Sarah's quiet and humble way, she left a lasting impact on all of those that she met. She never needed to be the loudest person in the room. To be noticed, her kindness, her gentle spirit, and her caring heart spoke for themselves. One of Bob's and my most cherished memories will be the last time we actually saw Sarah. She'd been up in Edmonton for a soccer tournament, and her dad and her and Bob and I went to Boston Pizza for dinner. Watching her and her dad tease each other, and her giggling at the silly things that Grandpa Bob was doing were magical. She was so excited that her dad was taking her to West Edmonton Mall at the end of the weekend, so she could visit one of her favorite anime stores. She told us how she was planning on going into engineering and was excited about the summer ahead of her and going into grade 12. It was one of those simple but perfect moments, filled with laughter, pride, and togetherness, the kind of memory that stays with you forever. Living in a different city than Sarah meant that we didn't get to spend as much time with her as we would have liked. We relished hearing about her from her dad and her mom whenever they had a moment to tell us what she was doing and whether she was excelling at dance or at school or her newfound passion in soccer or her new friend that she had made. We're just so proud of you, Sarah. What we will remember most is Sarah's kind heart, her bright smile, and the love she gave so freely. Though our hearts ache deeply, we are grateful for every moment, every memory, and every piece of joy she shared with us. Sarah, we love you. We're proud of the young woman you are becoming, and you will carry your memory with us in our hearts forever.
Yes, I have to adjust this one. Hi, for all people who doesn't know me, I'm Sarah's maternal grandmother. I remember when they were little, Jade was so protective of her sister. I think Jade was 2.5 years old then, and Sarah was almost 1 year old. Charlotte went back to work, so she arranged for a daycare center. I remember Charlotte telling me that the daycare worker mentioned how Jade was so protective of Sarah. Whenever Jade heard Sarah crying, she would run to her sister's room and would be asking, "Is my baby okay? Is my baby okay?" It just shows how much Jade cared for her sister. A few months after that, Michael was assigned to Texas. It was so difficult for me to see them go, so I decided not to see them off at the airport. However, I regret that decision. How I wish I had seen them leave and had taken them to the airport. I miss them so much. Although I saw them once a year, it was different when I knew they were just around the corner. After a few years, Charlotte told me that they were coming back to Canada. That was the most wonderful news that I ever heard. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Michael and Charlotte for agreeing to let my husband and me join them on their family vacation. Because of this, we were able to see our grandkids grow and enjoy time with them while they were still young. Those were the precious moments that cannot be replaced by anything else. It was during one of those trips that I found out Sarah loved ice cream. She could eat 3 or 4 scoops of ice cream on a cone and eat it just like that. The last time that I saw Sarah was on March 30. The family went to Edmonton because Sarah had soccer tournament. After the tournament, I saw Sarah smiling and was so happy. You know why? Because the team won bronze. This shows how Sarah is so passionate, love to play soccer. Sarah collects pluses of her favorite characters. At first, she was fond of Pikachu. I'm bringing it here. And later on, Pom Pom Puron, a Sanrio character. Whenever her Lolo and I went to Japan to visit her Uncle Tim and Aunt Amanda, we made sure to buy her these pluses. Sarah, I love you. We all love you. Every time I long for you, I will have one of these pluses so I can feel like you are still with us and have not left us. It's goodbye for now, till we meet again.
Sarah and I are best friends.
We met in grade 4 and have been two peas in a pod since. Throughout middle school and junior high, we were in the same class every year up until grade 9. When we heard the devastating news that we were going to be in different classes. I remember us complaining about this for so long, and then we reached high school where we basically had no classes together. But that didn't matter, because we were inseparable. Sarah is the most genuine and humble person I know. She would always make me laugh, and just being in her presence gave me comfort. She helped me so much in every aspect, and she understands me so well, and she was like a sister to me. Throughout the 8 years of our friendship, we were always there for each other no matter what. I always imagined that if I went through a loss, that she would be there by my side. But I never expected that she would be the one I'd lose.
It has been my greatest privilege to have her as my best friend. Sarah, I miss you so much, and you will forever be in my heart.
Thank you to the family for asking me to say a few words today. It's an honor. For those of you who don't know me, I had the privilege of coaching Sarah during her early years with the Rangers. Like many people here, I've spent the last 2 weeks searching for answers. We feel sadness, confusion, guilt, numbness, sometimes all at once. And the hardest part is there really is no answer. Nothing that'll make this make sense. But even when there's no answers, perhaps there's a little something we can do. I met Sarah at soccer evaluations years ago. Sorry, just give me a second. She showed up wearing a black t-shirt and bright blue soccer cleats. Anyone who's ever been through evaluations knows that it's a horrible time. Kids are nervous, parents are nervous and anxious, everyone's competing for spots, friends are even trying to beat each other onto the same place on the team. And for a shy, quiet girl, never having done this before, that took a lot of courage. I never asked Sarah how she felt that day, but I think, or at least I'd like to think, she felt rewarded for being brave, with immediate friendships, memories, and finally finding her place. As you've already heard, Sarah was not loud, In fact, most of our conversations were pretty simple. Hi, coach. Yes, coach. Thank you, coach. Bye, coach. And honestly, I think that was what made her special. She didn't need to be the loudest person in the room. She was just comfortable, observing, taking things in, and quietly being herself. Many of you in this room knew the Sarah that I never saw. You had longer conversations, deeper friendships, the laughs, and you've heard about so many of them already. The moments outside of soccer. I believe those moments were her gift to you, and they belong to you forever. There's one soccer memory that stayed with me, and I'm sure some of the girls in this room will remember. We were playing a tournament, and because of tears and all that, it meant playing against older girls, 1 year older. And that 1 year and one grade really made a difference. It was insurmountable. The girls were nervous, hesitant, intimidated. They just clearly weren't themselves, and things were not going their way. The coaches pulled them aside and basically said something like this: look around. They're not bigger than you. Go after those 50-50 balls hard. Play brave. And you might find out that they are just as scared as you are. I remember seeing something change in Sarah. It's like she made a decision. And she started attacking every ball with everything she had. Both ways. Full send, no hesitation, no fear. And honestly, from that moment on, I don't think she ever looked back. Every game, every practice, she chased every ball with her whole heart. Her teammates absolutely loved her for it. She did it for you, and her coaches loved her for it too. In all my years playing and coaching sports, I never saw another player give it everything like Sarah. So when I think about what do we do now, how do we carry this loss forward, I think Sarah gave us some pretty good ideas. Be brave. When life is hard, when you are scared, when things feel overwhelming, when it's a new arena, be brave anyway. Remember that quiet girl in the bright blue cleats who walked into the lion's den and found a place to belong. Jeez, coach, get it together. Be yourself. You don't have to be the loudest person to matter deeply to other people. She's proved that. There is strength in kindness, in quietness, in loyalty, and simply being content with who you are. And finally, chase the ball. Chase it when life's going your way, when it isn't. Chase the people you love. Chase for your teammates. Chase the moments that matter. Chase life with effort, heart, and courage. Because if there's one thing that Sarah showed us all, it's that even quiet people can leave an incredibly loud impact on the world around them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Coach Pan. I was fortunate enough to be just a small part of Sarah's soccer journey at New Frontier. And so first I'll start by thanking Michael and Charlotte for giving me the opportunity to share some few words today. Growing up, my mom used to tell me all the time that there's no rainy days for no reason. And that even nature, just like us, is often overwhelmed with emotions. I never really understood what she meant, but being outside today, looking at the weather, seeing the rain, seeing the winds howl, seeing what the weather will be for the next couple of days, it all just seems to make sense at this point. Like many of you, I too am heartbroken by Sarah's passing, and it's difficult to find the words for the loss of someone so young, vibrant, and deeply loved. But my journey with Sarah started at the end of last outdoor season, where our technical director, Kat, asked me to take on this group of girls. She said, there's a lot of shy faces, a lot of new players, but if you're able to do something with them, if you're committed to them, they have the potential to be something great. And I admit I was hesitant at first, and I didn't know what that would look like. But I took the leap of faith, and now what I got in return was far more than anything I could have ever asked for. I found an incredible group of young women who became more than players and teammates, and they became a family. And one of our teammates was, of course, Sarah. Over the past 2 seasons, I watched them support one another, laugh together, overcome challenges together, and create friendships that create far beyond the soccer field. And today it's unfortunate that we're saying goodbye to one of our family members. When I think of Sarah, I think of her joy. She had a genuine love for soccer that was impossible to miss, and every time she stepped onto the field, she brought energy, enthusiasm, and a smile that could brighten the entire team. She was a wonderful teammate, a dedicated player, and the kind of person that made those around her much better. Some of the moments that I'll cherish the most are just the simple ones. During practices, we all knew how fast she was and how much she loved to play and how she would work incredibly hard for the ball. So I would jump in and try to defend her. And every time I would take the ball away from her, I would tease her a little bit. But of course I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that she would often push me away and score the goal anyways. Those small moments of laughter and friendly competition are moments I will always carry with me. Sarah was also an incredibly dedicated student in the classroom, and it wasn't uncommon to see her studying for a test on her phone before a game. These are also memories that I will always cherish. I would often talk to her about the challenges of being a student athlete and the importance of finding that balance between academics and sports. She cared deeply about doing well in both, and that commitment was something I always admired about her. Sarah meant so much to our team. She was more than a player, and she was part of our soccer family. Her teammates cared deeply for her, and her presence will be greatly missed both on and off the field. I find myself being very grateful that I was actually able to watch her in her last game. She was playing up as a call-up for another team. I was hesitant to go because honestly I don't like anyone else coaching but me. But I went anyways. And although I only stayed for the first half, I could see Sarah demanding the ball, running across the field, working as hard as possible. And I knew that that commitment was something that made her very, very special. And I'm very glad that I went to that game. And I know that I'd forever be regretful if I did not. To Sarah's family, thank you for sharing her with us. It was an honor to be her coach and to witness the joy she brought to the game and to the people around her. Sarah's time with us was far too short, but the impact she had on our team will never be forgotten, and I promise you that myself and our whole team will carry her memory with us every time we step onto the field. Rest in peace, Sarah.
Are there any other tributes or memories to be shared?
deep breath, smile. Don't read this line, you idiot. I just wanted to take this.
You got this, buddy.
I just wanted to take this time to thank you all, on behalf of the Cowie family, for all your support at this difficult time. There are full gambits of emotions you go through when tragedy takes a dear loved one away. There's one emotion that gets lost in the grief and sums up what I admire most about my family. Gratitude. I am grateful to Sarah. She touched all our lives. I'm grateful that all of you came here to celebrate every moment we shared with her. And the unique way she touched people in this room. Sarah has become a part of all of us, and I will remember her as a decent and caring person, the type we can all aspire to be. She loved you all. She loved her family. I know that she'll continue to live on in the people here today, and that she'll never be forgotten. But she'll live on in the lives she has touched in this room today. Thank you, Sarah. I will forever be grateful for every moment you shared with us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Heather, and Sarah is my niece, and today I have the privilege of sharing a tribute to Sarah written by one of her best friends, Leah. Sarah was one of my first friends in Calgary when we moved here in 2021. I met Sarah through soccer. I remember being so nervous to play with a team, and I've always struggled with friendships. But it was never hard to get along with Sarah. She was shy, kept to herself, but she was quite funny once you got to know her. Sarah eventually became more comfortable through the years, and I used to look forward to seeing her at practices. We used to tease each other during practices by kicking each other's soccer balls as far away as we could. One of my favorite memories I have with her was after a game when Mike took Jade, Sarah, and I to McDonald's for, guess what, ice cream. And Sarah found it amusing how I would eat ice cream and talked about it the entire ride. Sarah, I know recently we hadn't had a chance to hang out as much as life has gotten so busy, but I'll forever miss you and regret not getting the chance to see you one last time. You'll always be remembered for your unique character, my best friend. I love you so much. Rest in peace, sweet girl, Lilia.
Our sincere thanks to each one of you who so beautifully captured the essence of your relationships with Sarah. Thank you for your heartfelt messages and words of wisdom that have come as a result of your relationships and as a result of her 16 years of living among each one of you. Thank you. And as we've heard, and as you know, Sarah did a lot of living in her 16 years. And I know each one of you who are here today and joining us by live stream bring cherished memories of time spent with her. And we acknowledge with sorrow that her earthly life is now complete, though far too soon. But as the warm glow of this candle before us reminds us, the light from her life, her love, continues to live on and radiate in the hearts and the memories of all of you. And as you've heard and as you know, she's left behind such a positive legacy to all who knew her, loved her, and whose lives were touched by her. And as already been expressed, especially by Jade so eloquently, continue to speak her name, continue to tell her story, continue to remember her. Because just as the lines of her life story are written into your life stories, so too your life stories were written into her life story, and you're all blessed because of it. And it has been said, to live in the hearts of those we leave behind is never to die. Today, among many things, we are reminded that life is a gift, a precious and a fragile gift. And it can change in a nanosecond, as we are poignantly reminded today. So in the time that we have for each one of us, as Sarah has reminded each of you who have known her and loved her, take time for life itself. Be happy and find meaning in this life. Tell people in your lives that you love them, that you care about them. Cherish and celebrate the life that you have been given and that you create. Cultivate generosity and be gentle. Live gratitude. And make a positive difference with your thoughts, your words, and your actions in this our wounded and wounding world. In other words, live well and look well to this day, for this is life, the gift, the fragile, precious gift that has been given. Let it be so. We'll now view together the photo memories that have been prepared.
Know that your eyes see straight through me. Speak to me without a sound. I wanna hold you, protect you from all of the things I've always to explain where your daddy has been. So I wanna hold you, protect you from all of the things I've already endured. And I wanna show you all the things that this life has in store for you. And I'll always love you the way that a father should love his daughter. Sweet Zoe Jane. Sweet Zoe Jane. Walking the room, I can't conceive it. The hospital bed, you're fighting to breathe in. I'm holding your hand, but it's losing color. I know you weren't ready to go where you are now. God only knows. I guess heaven really needed you to leave us in that vacant room. A different you that's doing well. A universally parallel. 100 things that I could lose. Not one of them can lead to you. A different version of yourself. A universally parallel. Panic attack at 5 in the morning. Bury the dead without any warning. It hits me in waves, the lack of color. I know you weren't ready to go where you are now. God only knows. I guess heaven really needed you to leave us in that vacant room. A different you that's doing well. A universally parallel. 100 things that I could lose. Not one of them can lead to you. A different version of yourself. A universally
How will you remember me? What will be my legacy? Did I leave behind the best of me? Did I make you feel loved? Will you shed a tear or raise a glass? Wonder why it went by so fast. Do you wish that you could wish me back and never let me go? No one gets to see it the way our souls are leaving in the night. We don't have time, and I wish you would tell me before tomorrow fails me and I can't get it right. Let me make it right. Life goes on in memories. Tell me, how will you remember us? Will you think about how we were young, getting lost in dreams and getting drunk? Didn't we have fun? Living off the Indian summers, living for the springtime colors, knowing we'll still have each other when the winter time comes. No one gets to see it, the way our souls are living in the night. We don't have time, and I wish you would tell me before tomorrow fails me and I can't get it right. Let me make it right. Life goes on in memories. Tell me, how will you remember me? No one gets to see it, the way our souls are leaving in the night. We don't have time, and I wish you would tell me before tomorrow fails me and I can't get it right. Help me make it right. Life goes on in memories. Tell me, how will you remember me? You're the light that shines for me, carries on my song for me, and the only way I'm okay to leave is if you remember me.
Three, two, one. We love you.
I miss you.
Mommy.
And Lucas.
Remember her with love and with profound gratitude. A cherished life, well lived and lovingly remembered. A few announcements before we conclude. I thank you to each one of you for being here in person and joining us by live stream. Thank you also for your many expressions of care and support to Sarah's family. I know they are most appreciative. Our heartfelt thanks to each one who contributed in such meaningful ways to the service honoring Sarah's life. And be certain that your contribution added a really special and personal dimension as we celebrated and remembered. Following the service, you're invited to join Sarah's family for refreshments in the space over there. And as I learned from family when I met with them, but also during this service, that she loved desserts, especially ice cream. And some desserts have been prepared as part of the refreshments that will be served. And you are invited to please stay and share in this time of community and remembering as you share stories and memories with each other. Also, a GoFundMe fundraiser has been created on the family's behalf. And Sarah's family plans to donate the majority of the funds toward establishing a scholarship in Sarah's memory through the New Frontier Soccer Club. And it's the family's hope that the scholarship will allow Sarah to continue to make a difference in the world as an ongoing legacy. And now in closing, a blessing. Go now in peace. May love, friendship, and memories uphold you, sustain you, and keep you this day and forevermore. Let it be so.
Sweet bride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, the things we've been through. Then now we standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place.